All right, welcome everyone to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. It's good to have everybody here tonight. Sorry we missed you last week, had a little medical emergency there, but everything's okay now, right, Theresa? Your brother?
Yes, thanks for the
Okay.
great intents that everybody sent too.
That's great. Well, listen,
I actually got to witness that transmute itself out of the situation into something positive, so that was really cool.
Oh, so you didn't go to the worst case scenario. You actually just kind of waited to see what the deal was going to be instead of assuming the worst, right?
Right.
Yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, if you're new to the channel, it's good to have you with us. We are a group of like-minded individuals that come together every week, talk about all things spirituality, ascension, that kind of stuff, and with practical things to help others learn and grow and to find their way through this ascension process. So we're all very much awoke, and a lot of us have connections to spirit and all kinds of really cool connections. So we enjoy bringing this show to you and discussing things like that. And tonight we're doing the Art of Allowance, which is really interesting and how it correlates with spirituality. I think we all think the first thing is when you think the Art of Allowance, you think about that association with the financial literacy with children. But it's really more than that. It's a concept that's significant with spiritual meaning, and it's closely linked to surrendering, acceptance, and trust in a higher power in the universe. So, and tonight we'll be talking about 3 key points, and that's understanding the concept, the key principles, and practicing and allowing. But before we do that, we like to always go into the chat and see what's going on, see who's with us tonight. And it looks like we got about 9 in chat or 9 watching. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you, Lucky Stone. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Hey, Lucky.
Of course, the panel has already made some comments, and I think people are still kind of coming in. Yep. Mary Mansfield, happy Friday to you. You betcha.
Hi, Mary.
Good to see you as well. Yeah. So I'm interested in everyone's take on the Art of Allowance. I do have a little video that we're going to look at, and then we'll get into it. But before we do all that, I really wanted to see what everyone's perceptions and opinions and concepts of the idea are. And I thought, hey, tonight we'll start with you, Theresa. What's your understanding of the Art of Allowance?
It's many, many things, but I think the strongest knowing that I have, based on even my most recent experiences, which you're privy to and everybody else isn't, but to me it means the release of the feeling that you need to be in control of each and every situation in your life, regardless of what it is, whether it's a career goal or a personal goal, a finance goal. It's the understanding that you're really not. You can only control your own actions and your responses to everything else that's going on. And the more you try to manage things, the more you find yourself, or at least I do, in stressful situations, because I programmed myself pretty much all my adult life to be highly successful program manager. and a senior account executive and an operations business manager. And you can't be those things and be wildly accepted, promoted, raised, highly sought after, unless you're good at it. And being good at it means you're always in control of your project. You train yourself to be in control, and you train yourself to teach other people how to gain control of their projects, like other project leaders that you're training, so that they don't lose their way. And so everything is planned out to perfection.
Yeah.
And you have some flexibility, but you follow these project plans, and you're supposed to. You wouldn't be hired and you wouldn't earn an income if you weren't on time, on budget or below budget, within a certain time frame, and you have to move resources and people around and manage different teams and personalities to do it. And if you're not successful, you won't get hired for the next project, let alone make close to 6 figures. You just won't. So all my life, I've been programming myself to be that person. It's part of my blueprint. And I have been in important roles, let's just say, in previous lifetimes, where I've been given great leeway, and that's what I did. So I had the healing side of me and the nature side of me, but I also was very much sought after for advice and counsel and project planning and management, pulling teams together, creating new programs and services. That's what I do. So that's what I'm used to. But life outside of business doesn't go that way, because you're not in control of those resources. Those people don't work for me. Realtors, accountants, government people. And so it gets really frustrating for me when things don't go right to my plan. I planned this, and I have certain expectations and certain directives, and I'm using my logical mind because I believe God gave us a brain for a reason, you know, and on and on.
Yeah.
So I really, you know, it's not that I'm narcissistic in any frame of the word. It's just that's my model. Okay, it became my model. The hardest part of the Art of Allowance was to break that model in my personal interactions and social interactions and life lessons.
So you had to learn to trust that natural flow and kind of open yourself up to receive.
Yeah, and it's the hardest thing to do, let me tell you, because I want to tell this person, this is what I expect, this is what I want you to do, and this is how you're going to do it, and that's going to be my way and not your way.
Yeah,
okay?
Being a business owner,
I
understand that.
Yeah. I mean, I trust that you're an expert in your field, and I'll let you go just so far, but then I'm going to bring you in, I'm going to reel you in, because this isn't happening the way it's supposed to. And the more you do it, people, the more things don't happen the way they're not supposed to. Because what you're doing is putting that judgment, you're putting that energy, you're creating blocks in your thoughts constantly. So I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I thought I was doing what I always do for a project.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, selling this house is my project right now.
Right.
So I'm going to manage these realtors, and I'm going to manage these people. And the more I resisted, it's a form of resistance. It's not accepting. It's not allowing. And you have to let go of a lot of your preconceived ideas of control. And so that's what, to me, it's a release. And it's not just a release of the feeling of having to be in control. It's a release of a lot of other things.
And reducing that stress.
Reducing the stress as much as possible, and not putting out. Because one day I would be like, oh, my house is sold. I can see it in my vision. I see it. It's sold. But it's taking 3 months. What the hell is Spirit doing?
Is Spirit responsible? Is Spirit responsible?
If Spirit is us and we are one, and they're all aspects of self, then various parts of myself are encouraging me. And parts of me are resisting, going, oh, that's not going to work. It's not working so far. That's full of baloney. That's a bunch of baloney. And it's not that it's baloney. It's just that your expectations have to be managed. You have to manage your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, if I had some hot-headed moments, Laurie's been on the other end of the phone dealing
I'm
with
all,
it.
uh-oh, she's triggered. Trigger alert.
Yeah. But yeah,
Woo.
so the minute though, what I found out is the minute I don't think about it and
Mm-hmm.
try, okay, we agreed on this, we're doing this, we put this in motion, let it go. It's
Mm-hmm.
like fishing. If any of
Yeah,
you fish, you throw the
sure.
line out,
Yeah.
you might jerk it around a little bit every now and then to,
Mm-hmm.
but you just sit there and you don't sit there and pretend like you're like hauling in a big fish.
That's a good analogy. You can't
You're
force
just really,
fishing.
no. So you
Yeah.
just have to take so it means you have to be in silence. Your
Mm-hmm.
mind has to be in silence.
But we all have this need to control every outcome. We
Yeah,
have a need to control others. We have a need to control our situation.
yeah.
Where does that come from? Where do you think that comes from? Brian?
Oh,
Okay,
he's
you're
talking.
muted.
You're
Yeah.
muted. There you go.
When I'm looking at the title of the show, The Art of Allowance,
Mm-hmm.
to me, allowance in the same context also means acceptance. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're allowing something like a spirit wanting to contact you, if you're allowing that spirit to contact you, you're actually accepting what they have to offer you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's it's kind of hard to explain about allowance because there's so many it can mean so many different things and different aspects of your spiritual journey, like allowing your shadow side to be a part of you. A lot of people don't like to work with the shadow side, and the shadow side is a very good part. The shadow wants to be a part of you.
Yeah. And
It,
it fights for control, doesn't it?
right, but if you start healing that shadow side, doing that shadow work, and then when you start healing all that, that shadow actually starts to lighten up. It's
Mm-hmm.
not as dark as it used to be.
Yeah.
So then now you're allowing that to actually be a part of you in your journey instead of just pushing it away and try to keep pushing it away.
Yeah. Steve Bowe just made a really good comment here, and I
Yeah.
want to address this. The need to be in control often comes from insecurity. And that's exactly, that's a really good point, because a lot of us have childhood traumas, and many of us have some really nasty things that have gone on. And I think it's the lack of control when you're a kid and you grow up with that feeling like you need to have some control over your situation, because as a child, you were not in control. The adults around you were not in control, and the situation wasn't under control. So you constantly have this desire as an adult to be in control of every situation. And that's where things kind of get a little messy.
I
Um,
think there's some truth
Yeah.
to that, especially for certain people who have experienced certain traumas. But like
mm-hmm,
I said, with me, it's not a feeling of insecurity. If I was insecure, I wouldn't be a successful project manager.
mm-hmm,
It takes a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
but I think that there are people, I know people, even within my own family, that just are major control freaks
Mm-hmm. It's that
over the
desire
silliest,
to
stupid things.
to
Yeah.
be on top of it, to have the outcome be the way you want it to be. And
Yeah.
that's different from manifesting, from wanting to manifest. Control is
Right.
more of a grip, or grasping and hanging on and wanting to see things happen a certain way. But the art of allowance is actually allowing yourself to let go and accept situations, um, and improve your relationships. Because if you can witness what the control is, if you can see it from an objective juxtaposition and not get involved with the outcome of something, that's when that releases the stress, and that kind of it'll enhance your creativity as well. But we just can't control everything. We can't control others. We can only control ourselves and how we react to a certain situation. And that's where that comes in, I think. Yeah.
Just like Wednesday nights at group, you know, when we do the Reiki, you're allowing that person to connect to your energy field. And that goes to basically the acceptance, because you're accepting the energy that they're giving to you.
Yeah. Very true.
Oh, I love this, Jasmine. The discernment of knowing when to allow and when to control.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well said.
So there you go. Nick and Jasmine, you want to chime in on this?
Yeah, so it's like how we were saying, like I feel like I'm also in management. So I get paid to make sure that things are at a certain standard, and I get paid to make sure that things are running as smooth as possible. I get paid to make sure that everybody's on task. I get paid to make things work smoothly, right? So I can't just allow people to do whatever they feel like on company time. I just can't do that, because that's not what I'm getting paid for. And the reason why I am good at my job, like Theresa was saying, is because we know how to manage those expectations and how to set out a plan of X, Y, and Z goes here to reach this outcome. Because what Steve was saying is correct. To have control, you have expectations, right? It's the complete opposite of what we're learning about allowance.
Yep.
So I feel like there's a time and a place for everything, right? So there's a time when we do have to be in control. But what I was learning, like how Theresa has learned recently, is that not everything has to be documented, formulated, calculated, planned for. Not everything has to be that way. And that's what you allow. So the best way I can describe allow is like how I mentioned earlier, kind of like how a royalty would be like, I allow it. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll allow it. Or like when a judge, when they're gonna, they're like, oh, in the court case, and they're like, I'll allow it. Go ahead, keep asking the question, right? So in a way, it's giving permission. You're giving yourself permission. You're giving X, Y, and Z permission to express themselves. You're giving the universe permission to express itself. And when you're giving that permission, you're letting go of those expectations and letting it see what it comes up with. It's kind of like, how are you going to tell a kid how to draw? No, you don't. You give them some crayons and some paint and be like, here you go, make something, right? Because you're allowing them to create something. So for me, the way that I like allow more than like give in, or what are they? Because to me, when I'm like, they're like, oh, just give into it. I'm like, I'm not giving up. What do you? That makes me want
It's your perspective. It's the way you're gonna look at the situation.
Let Jesus take the wheel is one expression, and another one is turn it over to spirit.
Yeah.
And I'm just, to me, I don't know. I feel like I'm not the sit around kind of type. I'm the let's get up and do something kind of type, right?
Yeah.
So every time I hear that, I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to do. I mean, if it works for you, cool. But for me, I have ADHD, and I'm gonna be like, well, what are you gonna use? Like, you know what I mean? I'll be way too involved on the sidelines, waiting for something to happen. But
Exactly.
I feel like the art, though, like Laurie put in the title, the art of allowance is an art. It's a dance form. It's almost like a give and take. It's an exchange of energies, kind of. So like sometimes I'll tell the energy, like, all right, universe, show me how good it can get, right? So when I say that phrase, it puts me in the mindset of I'm letting go. I'm excited to see what you come up with, right?
Yeah.
I want the universe to show me how great my life can get. As an example. But to answer Steve's, or what you were asking, Laurie, before, of where does that need of control come from, there's this diagram in psychology. It's called the hierarchy of, I'm blanking on the name, but whatever. It's a hierarchy pyramid of the basic needs of human life, right? Or the basic needs of any life. And yeah, that's cute. You have to have discernment of when to apply these things.
I love that.
But the basic needs in that triangle also corresponds to the chakras, right? So the first chakra is the red chakra, and that's our physical needs, right? So
Mhm.
if our physical needs are not being met, we're going to have a lot more control. And if we lose control, that's how people start going into an unhealthy versions of themselves. That's how they
Yeah.
start going into addictions and
Mhm.
they become problematic because they feel like they have no control over anything because their basic needs are so, you know what I mean? It can come from trauma, it can come from displacements, it can come from so many different ways that the only way they feel like they have some importance is by taking control in the
Yeah.
wrong way.
Yes. And, I kind of want to piggyback on what Steve said, because that's a really cool comment. The last time Jesus took the wheel, I crashed, which reminded me of a very simplistic way to look at it. Say you're driving, you're in a car with yourself and a passenger. And let's say you're the passenger, but the driver's not driving like you would drive. And so you're trying to control the destination, how you're getting there, the route that you're taking, whether or not you should go through that, yellow light, that kind of stuff. And it's kind of a metaphor for how life is when you're going through life and understanding how that flow goes. Well, it's that need to control the outcome. It's that need to, this is a better way. This is the way I would do it. That's the way you should do it. Instead, just allowing that person to take the route that they want to take or go the way they want to go or drive the way they want to drive is kind of letting go and letting them take the wheel.
Well, you do that when you're a teacher or a project manager and you're grooming other project managers.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a surgeon and you're
Mm-hmm.
training interns how to do things. And when you gauge that you can trust that they'll take care of things in a certain way, you just back off a little bit and give them the tools and let them do it. When things aren't getting done, though, over a period of time, okay?
Yeah.
And it's gone beyond a reasonable time period and they haven't been able to step up and take care of things, that's when you step back in and feel the urge to take control.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the opposite of letting go. And so I've done that so many times though that what it does is it makes me even more frustrated. It's
Yeah.
one thing to be frustrated that something's taking forever, way
Mm-hmm.
too long.
Mm-hmm.
Something isn't right, something's not working, it's taking too long, you step in, and then that's taking too long, and that's not working, and that's not. See, what you end up doing is building layers of frustration for yourself.
Yeah.
To the point where you start questioning spirit, you question yourself, and you are spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so you just, it starts snowballing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel out of control, and then the insecurity steps in, and you're like, what am I going to do? This isn't moving.
Yeah.
The minute you stop thinking that way, and you go,
yeah.
release it, see what happens. You threw the bait out into the river, let it float, see if a fish comes along and strikes it. That's where I am right now, people.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I am with a major life-changing event. And I'm sitting here just I was trolling and trying to work the hook and hook it, and I'm just like, you throw a little bait out there and you sit back and wait.
Yeah.
And it requires a great deal of patience and security and faith and trust that everybody's going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. What else can you do?
Yeah, and I like what Mary Mansfield said. I manage the household. I've seen what happens when I'm not fully engaged, and it's not pretty. It's about finding the balance between controlling chaos and allowing a space for serendipity.
That's
Well
it. You
said,
allow that
Mary.
space
Well
for
said.
serendipity.
Beautiful.
That's
Beautiful.
exactly what I found out. You sit in silence.
Yes.
You find a peace and a comfort you take your mind to a place of serendipity, and you just enjoy everything else. And the minute you do that, things start moving, I've noticed.
And Steve says, as a teacher in my classroom, I want my students to teach each other. There you go. Yeah. Nick, how about you? How do you feel about this art of allowance, and what's your perspective on it?
Okay, so some of the people in the chat and the panel knows that I recently got a huge data dump. All right, so I'm actually very excited that this is the topic because I've told you guys about the Rosicrucian stuff that I learned, but there was 2 other things I got data dumped that could be totally separate topics, but one of them has to do with allowance. So when I looked into the Dogons, my guys were like, kind of reminds you of Hermetics, right? And I was like, crap, you're right. And then I realized, so wait, how many of these secret societies actually have been teaching Lemurian and Atlantis teachings for this long? And it got me all the way to Rosicrucian, so I'm there. Then after I got to that point, my guides told me a name called Abraxas. And I was like, Abraxas? And they were like, yeah, you ever wonder why you always shout him when you're pretending to smite something? I'm like, that's a good point. I don't even know where that name comes from. That drove me to a book from Carl Jung, which I really like Carl Jung, because he's where I learned it. But apparently he had an allowance situation where he tapped into spirit and spirit taught him about what Abraxas is. And then he made a whole book series out of it called The 7 Sermons of the Dead that I also found when I unlocked my memories. That's all crazy, another topic. But this third thing I found has to do with the art of allowance, and I've known about it, I've practiced it, but I've actually found some material for it, diving deeper into it, and it's called Taoism.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure everyone here is at least familiar with the yin yang symbol. That's where Taoism
Buddhism.
comes from. Well, there's a good book that I've been reading called see if I can show it. It's not popping up. It's called Tao Te Ching from
Tao Te Ching.
Yeah. And the author was Laozi.
Or Tao Te Ching.
Yeah. So it basically talks about the philosophy of Taoism and the art of letting go to let the natural order of things to transpire. So one of the teachings they talk about is Wu Wei, which it's a concept often translated as non-action or effortless action, suggesting that living in accordance with the Tao by not forcing things and allowing things to unfold naturally. So this whole philosophy. So when I saw that they're talking about the art of allowance, I was like, oh man, I got a whole religion for you right here that talks about it that you guys should look into.
Yeah. So Nick, what would you say to Scotty Boy who says, do we follow blindly?
Okay, so to answer that question is the whole concept of faith is to do it blindly. If you want to practice faith, you have to find something you believe in and take a shot at it. You got to say that God will give me the desired results that I need. Let go of your expectations and observe what happens afterwards. See, that Sophia taught me and Jasmine that where a lot of people stumble on is the expectations that they have on it.
Expectations.
Like when Steve was saying, when Jesus, I let Jesus have the wheel, but he crashed me. He needed to be crashed. No one really thinks about that.
Well, whatever your concept is of a higher source or a power or an energy, I happen to believe it's from within, the divinity from within as a creation. And it doesn't matter what your religious, but it's whatever you believe that you have faith in that's going to get you to the next level. So if you have a faith in a master like Jesus, or you have faith in a prophet, or you have faith in an angel guide, or you have faith in your higher self that you're connecting with, maybe, or you're channeling spirits like your mom and dad. If you have faith that you have a team of support structures around you that will help nudge you and guide you along the way, you can ease back a little bit from that staunch need to have force and outcome. And that's another thing. I think the art of allowance is understanding that you don't have to force an outcome. That you can trust that an outcome will present itself, maybe not in the way you intended originally, maybe a slightly different flavor of it, but that it's actually going to occur.
Yeah.
And if you believe that it's actually going to occur or has already occurred, because everything everywhere at once concept, you
Mm-hmm.
happen to believe in that,
Yep.
that idea, then it's already happened.
Yeah.
So once you picture it as already having happened, then you know it's happening.
Yeah. Mary
So
says,
then that gives you an ease.
yeah,
in it.
and she made a really good point here. I don't think the label we attach to it is nearly as important as finding something that gives you a sense of peace and purpose. And that's a really
Amen.
good point. Yeah, Nick, go ahead.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about Taoism, I'm not telling people you have to submit to that religion to actually understand how to do allowance.
It's
No,
just
I'm
the
saying-
ideas and concepts.
Yeah. You can
And
use
put
that
it all in your
material-
arsenal.
Yeah, you can use that as material to actually learn how to do it, because that's one of the best places that I found to actually learn how to do those habits. Which another thing I want to bring up about allowance is, what is allowance? Allowance is a receptive form of energy. Any metaphysical practitioner knows that receptive energy equals feminine energy. All right. So teaching people how to tap into feminine energy in an Abrahamic focused society, which
good
is
point.
divine masculinity, can be
very
a
good
bit
point.
of a left field turn for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see people like Scotty, for example, like why they would struggle with the whole concept of
Sure.
letting Jesus take the wheel at all times, or just going in blind. Like, but to tap into that type of divinity, especially if you want to practice metaphysics, it's absolutely necessary, because metaphysics in its nature is feminine. Gotta understand,
Yes.
the spirit realm is
That's
feminine in nature. That's why women they have an easier time unlocking that stuff, if that makes sense, because they're not in the masculine logical mind. I'm not saying they're never logic. That's not what I'm getting at. So
Right.
Jasmine and I
everyone
go,
has both energies. Yeah. Trust me, he's more
We know
logical.
better.
I'm more emotional by far. Okay?
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm getting at. I'm just saying, in essence, the principle of gender, that's where their default energy lies. So they can tap into it easier, just like how men can navigate the physical realm a lot easier.
Right. And the balance of the two, that's where, if you can find the balance of the two, then you're sitting in a much more balanced position.
Exactly. So that's what I'm getting at. Like, I know for most viewers right now, since we're mostly in America, this whole concept might look a little intimidating.
Yeah.
But you have to try it.
Good segue. Go ahead, Jasmine. Go ahead.
I have to say two things.
Thank you, Nick.
When you're practicing the art of allowance, I know that if you're used to being in control and you're used to having outcomes that go your way, or whatever it is, always tell yourself everything works for me, right? Even if you can't see it right now. The other thing is to also have faith in yourself. I know faith is that funny word. Faith is believing in something that's not seen or that you don't know. Like, you have to
blind faith. You've heard that saying.
Yes. But I have enough faith or confidence in myself that no matter what position I get put in, I know I'm gonna find a way out, because I find solutions. I'm gonna either find a way over, through, under, around. I don't care how. I will find solutions to it. So if that's my mindset, plus I always think that everything's working for me, then if I allow the situation to happen, it's not really, even if it turns south, just for how they say that the healthy mindset is to prepare for the worst but expect the best.
And it's the opposite of what you do. You're always thinking the worst is going to happen, so it's the opposite. So how is that serving you?
Exactly. So I'm just saying, like, if you do have to tweak a little, start with your own foundation. How much faith do you have in yourself to get yourself out of a situation?
Yeah.
Then allowing things comes more easier that way.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about that, just to follow up on that, because you're on a roll here?
Yes.
For me, and I just had an aha moment, and that is not to use the word faith, but trust.
Yes.
Trust in the decisions that you've made thus far. And if you've been collaborating with others to bring about a change, as I have, you're trusting them to know by now what your expectations are, because you've made it very clear you don't have to beat them to death with it. Then if every time you reconnect with them, you go back to that, I don't want this, you're just repeating yourself over and over, and so you're undermining their confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And if you undermine their confidence, maybe they're struggling with recent disappointments or a feeling of inadequacy or a feeling of failure.
Everybody's on their own track, their own path. Yeah.
Right. And so if you're not showing trust in their way of processing things their way, then that's not practicing the art of allowance, because you're giving them permission to move on and do what they need to do. Did we lose her?
Yeah, we did.
Sorry.
It wasn't her fault. It was my fault. I was toggling between Brian because he had popped out and then came back in. So I inadvertently took them out.
It's all your fault, Brian.
They'll be back.
You're responsible.
No, you're not responsible. I am. I'm pushing the buttons. That's my bad.
But no, I'm blame shifting. Poor Brian.
Shit.
He can handle it.
Okay, here they are. Sorry,
Here they
guys.
are.
That was
They're
my bad.
back.
It's all my fault. It's not your
Wow.
fault.
Okay.
It was not your fault.
I'm like, I paid the bill.
No, I paid the bill. That's
I
funny.
paid the electric bill. So you see where I'm going with that, Jasmine? It's let's just flip it and
Yeah.
that is faith, trust.
Yes, it is. It's
But
trust.
using the word trust is so different in that you can trust is something you can. There's trust funds. You know, there's something you can put your belief in
Mhm.
without having to shadow dance around this whole issue of faith.
Right.
But
right.
to me, you're trusting your inner self, your inner guides, whatever people you're working with, you're giving them an opportunity. You're allowing them the opportunity to contribute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that not a service also?
Yes.
Yes.
So Sophia says, hey, loved ones. She's not
Hey,
feeling
girl.
well tonight, so she's just kind of in chat listening. Hope you're feeling better, Sophia. We always miss you.
So the second point that I wanted to say to that is, if you are like me and you work, and you like being a busy bee, and you're always trying to do the next thing, and you're constantly keeping busy,
And you
and
hate
if you ever
sitting
get
still.
tired and exhausted,
Uh-huh.
I have been happily surprised how Nick was talking about the feminine energy and being more receptive and being more allowing, right? I'm so surprised at how easy life can be. Like, I don't have to do all the heavy lifting anymore. Like, before I used to have to come out with like contractions on how to get the litter box into the house. And like, what was I gonna do to like talk to a person and be like, hey, can you take the litter box? Like, but that's the interesting thing that I also learned in becoming more allowing. So now I allow him to help me. So I don't have to do it by myself. So it's a great how you said, Laurie. I mean, but like it's
Theresa.
it's a trust. It's a give and take sometimes when even in the art of allowance. It's that once again.
It is trust. It's trusting in yourself, trusting in the plan, trusting in what you're doing. All of that. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and watch the quick video because there's some stuff in here I think that would be helpful as well. And then we can go over some of the things that we can do on how to utilize that in our day-to-day lives as we have discussed here. But I have a little bit of a breakdown of it. So let's go ahead and pull this video up. It's about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Let's go ahead and watch that, and then we'll discuss that when we come back.
Cool.
As a child, do you remember when you were taught about the value of allowance? For some, a parent or guardian taught you the value of an allowance. Maybe you did some chores to earn enough money to buy something you really wanted, or you could find ways to make your own money by doing things for others. For some, you didn't receive this lesson at all. The art of allowance is learning the value of earning your own money and saving it. Now, how does this help us in spirituality and our ascension process? When you embrace the flow of life and learn to allow, letting go of the need for rigid control, and instead embracing the natural flow of life, trusting in a greater plan, and being open to receiving guidance and blessings. It's about accepting things as they are, including yourself, others, and situations without judgment or resistance. This doesn't mean being passive. Rather, it involves a conscious shift in focus from solely striving and forcing outcomes to creating space for those things to unfold and to receive what is meant for you. There are steps to learning how to cultivate and incorporate this idea into your daily lives. Now, I know what you're thinking. If I don't control everything, how is it going to happen for me? That's a great question. Understanding the core of allowing will help you better understand how it works. In essence, learning to allow in spirituality is a journey of releasing control, fostering trust and acceptance, and opening yourself to a deeper connection within yourself, others, and something greater than yourself. It's a practice that involves patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to embrace the process of life, even when it's challenging. Now, let's join the panel for another fascinating discussion.
Well done.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you, Laurie. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I wanted to go over a couple of slides to just talk about how to allow. And Theresa, you did a really good job on putting some key points together, so I want to give you credit for this. This is some of her work that she's done, not only for herself, but to share with others here on this show. So thank you for your contribution, Theresa.
Thank you.
So first and foremost, releasing resistance. Now, that's that letting go of internal resistance. It's to the situations, emotions, or aspects of oneself. And resistance often involves judgment, fear, or a desire to control the outcomes. So if you can recognize this when this is happening and see it for what it is and make an adjustment for it, that's really how you're gonna be in the art of allowance. And also acceptance and surrender. Now, that's a big one for people, accepting the reality of a given situation, even if it's uncomfortable. It's a form of surrendering to life. Don't you think, Theresa?
Well, how many times have you heard yourself say, or even someone you're close to, say, I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
This is how this is supposed to be. This is how it's going to be. And I'll accept nothing less than perfection. And that is not, and I will never give up on this idea. I will never give up on this concept. I will never sell my house for anything less than this amount of money, regardless of what the market says. So you sit there and you sit there and you sit there until you realize and accept that there's other things going on that you're not in control with, and then you realize what the trend is, and then you go, well, that's just being plain stubborn and stupid in my eyes. You're setting up resistance to and nothing's flowing.
Yeah. So
and I
here's
told you, even a beaver moves a log around to make the water flow through the dam.
That's right. They make the adjustment, and it's learning to accept that, surrender to it, and make the adjustment. Now, the other thing, the third one here, that non-judgment, refraining from judging oneself or others, including perceived faults. This relates to extending grace. Now, how hard is that for us to not judge a situation? How do you literally just kind of take it in, step back, see it for what it is, and choose not to play. That's the hard part. That's the part where you're like, okay, now I understand what's going on. I see it happening. I'm accepting and surrendering. And now what kind of judgment am I putting on that? So being able to just separate yourself from those, that's the trick, is separating it, because it's like that need to be right or wrong. Well, there's no right, there's no wrong if you subscribe to that understanding. But also in spirituality, it's not so much about the right or wrong. It's about the truth of the situation, seeing the truth of what's happening. I see that as judgment. You're judging. I see that as control. Interesting. Just keeping that objective juxtaposition, not getting tangled up in it. Jasmine, you want to make a comment?
Yes.
Okay. You go, girl.
Okay, so for me, when I hear the word surrender, right? Instantly I get a voice in my head that says, "We will never surrender."
Yeah, never.
Never give up, never surrender.
Never.
So I was like,
Never jump the ship.
this is interesting, because I understand like the concept that's being presented, right? It's like and like letting go, right? And
Everyone's sitting at home going, yeah, right, this is all great. Boy, I love it. Put a little sugar on top of there, put a little syrup on it. Yeah, that's nice. But how do I actually do this in real life?
Yes, because to me, I'm just like I can feel the resistance, right? And I know that, okay, I might have some things to do. I'm not total into the Taoism of don't have any passions, don't have any expectations. I'm human. I'm built with this stuff.
Exactly.
Right? Programming. You've got the programming. Yeah.
I don't necessarily consider it a bad thing. Like if I want to go goo goo gaga over some cookies and brownies and like exceptional coffee, I'll still human.
Oh, well, that's a whole different story.
Right. But I was asking my guides, like, as you were saying this, and then I was just like, why? Why do I have such a stigma around the word surrender, right? And they were like, because there's powers in words. There's a reason why words are chosen. And I was like, and they're like, then the other one pipe, because, there's a whole committee up there. But one of them pipes in saying, yeah, remember we taught you this. Everything's a spell. Look into the history of what surrender actually means. And that's why we choose the word allow, because allowing is a different mindset than surrendering. Surrender means that you had no other option. You had no other.
You're giving up.
Yes, you're giving up, right? Where allowing actually puts you in the mindset of, no, I probably could have done X, Y, and Z to get out of this, or I probably could have tried something else. But I'm going to allow the story to play out this way and see what kind of ending this will have. So it comes more from the place of control, honestly.
See, when I read acceptance and surrender, and that's when I was doing this chart with Laurie, I'm like, when I first read acceptance and surrender, my initial response is, you mean the opposite?
Yeah.
Accept defeat? Oh, hell no.
Well, see, it's interesting that you guys mentioned that, because I don't get that from that, if that makes sense. I get the discernment of what she means by surrender. Surrender means not bending the knee in this context. Surrendering is making your monkey brain shut up for once and get what you need on the other side. That's what I get from it.
No. That's exactly what I think it means. Now I understand. But I was acting as if, because my familiar, remember her videos talking about the programming of your childhood, experiences and traumas and interactions with siblings. My family's highly competitive. Everybody talks over everybody else. Nobody lets anybody else talk. They talk over, and they're in competition. Yeah. With ideas and concepts. Yeah. And so
I'm right.
Never
you're wrong.
Surrender. I will not defeat. Yeah, right.
I'm not giving up.
I'm right. You're wrong.
Wrong person here. Okay.
Yeah.
I will find a pencil. I will find a pen. I will find a bubble. I will find something.
Yeah.
I will find.
So exactly. So when you tell somebody, just be more accepting and accept the reality. The reality is that you need to surrender.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not what we're saying here.
Yeah.
It's not going to go well. Yeah.
If you know,
Right.
like Jasmine, you have all the power, you have all the knowledge. You're smarter than a 5th grader. So
Yeah.
allow them to discover themselves. Allow them to trip and be like, oh, you know what? Jasmine was
Yeah.
right. Like, just let them learn.
Mhm. But when you practice these concepts and these ideas and you understand what's going on, it makes it a lot easier. So you just continue to practice, because you're going to get situations all day long where you're going to be tested in this. It's going to test your resolve. And the art of allowance is understanding that and knowing when to react and when not to react. Theresa?
Okay, I have a really poignant question then. You are paying for a service. You are paying thousands of dollars. And you expect to get something in return for the service that you're purchasing for that amount of money, and it's huge. Now, I could be talking about a doctor, a lawyer, a real estate agent, a dentist, an attorney, an accountant. You have an expectation that you're going to receive a value from that amount that you've put out. And you're not seeing the results that you think you're paying for. And so if you're someone like me and Jasmine who's used to running a program or a project, we're trained to spot those kinds of things and do course corrections. So how do you accept and surrender? So my response is, well, you don't. In that case, you use your discernment. It's not about laying down and playing dead.
Right.
And it's not about being somebody's doormat.
When do you react?
And it's
When do
not
you
about
not
managing.
react? Yeah.
It's not about not having expectations. I'm sorry, I know that sounds really groovy in the spiritual community, but hey, I have expectations.
Yeah.
Now, am I using judgment or discernment?
Mm-hmm.
So judgment is being unfair, maybe even accusatory, and not really using your empathetic listening skills, maybe not seeing things from a different perspective to help you better understand the other person and what they're going through,
Or
or why
acceptance
they
of
might
it.
be, or acceptance of it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead you find yourself in this judgmental phase, and then you just dig into your heels and you're like, I'm not going to be defeated by this person. The person's not trying to defeat you. They're just not delivering you what you expect. So do you adjust your expectations? Or do you do some research to find out where this is coming from, which is what I had to do?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, oh God, now I understand why she's coming.
You had
from
to
this
better
perspective.
understand the situation. So
To
you were
me, that's
smart enough
acceptance.
not to fall into the trap, but to understand what was going
Right.
on. That's the key.
So that's
That's
what we're-
really important. Yeah, that's a great point, Theresa. Nick, and then we'll go to the next slide. Nick?
Okay, so I would like to bring another perspective to expectations.
Okay.
When I'm saying let go of expectations, I'm not saying let go of your goals, all right? You tell God and your subconscious what you want, right?
Right.
That's the main...
and be very detailed and clear.
Yeah, that's the
Don't
basic
be vague
manifestation.
now.
Yeah,
Don't be vague.
yeah.
That'll get you a lot of what you don't want.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
the basic part of manifestation. So the parts of the expectations I'm telling you let go of is once your guides and whoever's helping you out to get to that point hears you and they're like, all right, it's time to cook. Instead of you putting your own ingredients in their cookbook, let them cook is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I am saying let go of the expectations of how you are going to get there. They know the best way to get you there. I'm not saying be inactive. I'm just saying when you are maneuvering it yourself in the physical and you start applying and directing ideas, if you hit a roadblock and for some reason there's a lot of resistance and it's just not working, or you might get kind of what you want but it's not satisfying enough, that is a huge indicator that you need to calm down. Let them do their thing, redirect, go about it a different way.
And that's hard for people that don't have that connection to spirit, because when you do have the connection to spirit, not only do you understand the universal laws and the way that things work, but you just have an overall better understanding of situations. And if you don't have that connection, you're not able to connect that.
See, that is the catch-22.
Yes.
Concept of faith. Okay.
Yeah.
Because someone who's never tried it isn't going to do it until they full on accept it and try it. I'm talking like full on put the blindfold on you.
Yes.
And jump off the cliff and say you're going to make it out alive. Like that's the type of
do the nesty plunge.
And even if you do
willpower that you got to.
Even if you do that though, Nick, in what Laurie's saying, I'm telling you, it has been so wonderful, Laurie, to have you in my corner as part of my support. As a part of my support.
It's an honor.
Team.
It's my honor and privilege.
Because even if I'm very tapped in, and I
you are.
Communicate with different
more than
spirits.
People know. Yes, indeed, you are.
But sometimes I don't allow the connection, or I'm too busy telling you this isn't working for me.
Too busy being triggered.
And Laurie goes, "Hey, kiddo, have you talked to Root today? Have you gone inside today and had a session with your Root, spirit guides?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Well, don't you think? I think it would be really, really good for you today." Yeah, I'm sensing that right now. Do it right now. Because
no time like the present.
So she does this, and it's like she brings me back to, and eventually I won't need her to necessarily remind me, but that's a good thing when you have someone that you're close to. I'm sure Jasmine,
love and support.
You love and support one another, and I'm so grateful to have you do that with me, because we have coffee every morning and chat when we can. Not every morning, but we try, and we always manage to fit a few minutes in, even if it's only a few minutes. Or it could be an hour. It just depends. But it's kind of nice because we remind each other of these things, because I don't care how spiritually developed you are, or how advanced you are, or consider yourself, or whatever, perceive yourself to be. Sometimes we just forget the important things, the little important things, because we get carried away by the moment.
And the emotion of it.
And the emotion of it. And so what Nick and Laurie are both saying is very true. You have that ability and that power. That's the word where the word powerful, power. I'm not talking Superman power. I'm talking about the magic within.
Yeah.
And as long as you can tap into that and trust that, you're never alone. You're never alone. And so these steps here that she's talking about are so much easier.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Embracing the discomfort. So the process of allowance can be uncomfortable as old patterns and resistance are confronted and released. And observing this discomfort without reacting to it is important for healing and growth. And that's what we're talking about right here. And then, I mean, opening to the possibilities, just being open to allowance creates a space for new experiences. It's new perspectives, and it's healing. And it's allowing moving forward without being stuck in old patterns and fears. Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, say I love it. It's great. It's too fun. This is like the better of everything.
Yeah.
The thing that I wanted to express is two thoughts.
Okay.
Ever thought how your guides and your spirit team are allowing you to live out your life? Because I'm constantly interjecting, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know. They're like, how are you questioning me? Like I'm like, I don't know. You gotta tell me the how, when, what, where, right? Because again, that's just my brain. That's my scientific masculine brain.
I am completely different. They tell me something, I'm like, God is good, show me. And then it happens. I'm like, I love getting things handed to me on a silver platter. I can't get enough of it.
Because you have an undivided acceptance of it. And your faith and trust in it is powerful. And when it's that powerful, the only thing that can happen is the things that are good, that are positive, that come out of it.
It's hard for me to think otherwise when I literally get the results.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you see it and it's actively happening in your life, that's when you're sold. I'm sold. I got it. I'm on it. I believe it.
Yeah, like
I know it's happening.
Was saying earlier, it's you got to build that trust. But to me, I don't, like Scotty says, I don't follow blindly. I've always been a firm believer that the reason why we were created with such mental capacities is to use those mental capacities. I don't like listening to someone that's standing on a podium being like, you should do this and you should do that, and God's gonna hate you and God's gonna love you and blah blah blah. Like, don't try to control me over fear. Like, are you trying to, especially when adults, right, or authority would be like, do it because I said so. I'll be like, okay, and who are you? Like, what?
Oh, well, yeah.
What about if I said so? I'm talking.
What?
One.
All right, okay. You're right.
That was great.
So
there you go. There's some discernment for you.
My point is that it's not that it's my questioning to them is more because I want to know. So I know that a lot of people that it's coming a hard time to allow. Like if you're imagining a kid, right, like a toddler or whatever, and you're not allowing them to walk on the risky rocks or like walk on the slide or do something that's kind of dangerous, right? Because you're trying to protect them. But the thing is that where you're coming from a place of good, you have to allow that discomfort. Just the same way as my guides allow discomfort when I'm questioning them.
Yes. And they want you to come to your own conclusion.
Yes.
They want to nudge you in the direction where they give you everything you need to figure it out on your own. Right. Because they don't want to give you the answers, because that'd be like answers to a test.
Yes.
That's cheating.
Yeah. To me,
and spirit doesn't cheat.
No,
it's all
value a rational mind, right? I value those thinking faculties.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they always say, like, why didn't God or why didn't the universe just create us as robots? Like, if we were going to be punished one way or the other and they were all knowing, why not just create us perfect? Why create us with all these faults? Why do all, you know what I mean? So I think that
learn
free will, right? So I have the free will to question this, because I didn't come from a magic background. I came from a highly religious background. And then I left religion, I went into science because
show me the proof. Show me the proof.
Yes.
So when I started integrating into this world, oh, trust me, I went all science. I was like, I saw 3 different mediums, and when they all said the same thing, I was like, oh, crap. What are the odds of that, you know? And then they all used 3 different decks, so it wasn't even the same decks, but it was the same like message. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's something here. So I started building my trust with the spirit guides and with, you know, with all of this stuff. So when my spirit guides, when I was like, man, I really need to find, it's a seasoning, okay? It's a seasoning that's not, it's not readily available because not this culture doesn't, it's a cultural seasoning, right? And I'm like, oh, I really need to go. And they're like, oh, go to the Mexican store by your house. And I'm like, what? Why wouldn't, what? And I'm like, no. And they're like, just trust me, go to that store. And I'm like, okay, fine, right? So then I go, and then right next to the Mexican store was a Middle Eastern store that actually had the spice I was looking for. But they didn't, since they know me so well and they knew that I was going to question them, they didn't say, go to this store that you've never heard of, or go to this place that you've never known.
They just guided you.
Showed me a spot that I did know. So,
like, here's the watering hole. You can drink if you want to.
Exactly. But they allowed me to make a choice. And that's what I'm saying. Allowance, like, although you may be doing it to someone, right, as a child or someone else that you might be teaching, and you're coming from a place of love and you're trying to make sure that they don't hurt themselves, and you're trying to make sure that they make the best of their life, or that they're doing the right option, whatever, right? If you embrace that discomfort of letting them discover who they are, or letting them discover, oh, hey, you know what? If I do this, this is going to lead to X, Y, and Z. It's going to retain in their brain and in their body so much more than you just saying stuff to them.
Right.
And where you are allowing that to them, something else is allowing that to you. So it's all comes around into like a full circle moment.
And you're trusting that what they're telling you is going to be beneficial for you. And they will never, ever put any kind of fear-based thought, none of that. It's always honest and truthful. And that's how the universe works. We're the ones here in the 3D that are experiencing the opposite. So let's get into boundaries and self-respect. Now, setting healthy boundaries to protect oneself from harmful influences, like you were just talking about, and energies while maintaining openness and non-judgment. Trusting your inner guides and relying upon your intuition and wisdom. That's exactly what you just described there, Jazz. So good job. And then that flow and clarity. Practicing allowance can lead to a greater sense of clarity and flow in life as resistance lessens. So you learned a lesson by listening to the guides because they helped
That's
you,
right.
which you gain confidence in what they're doing with you and learning and growing. So you're allowing this to come into your knowing.
So back to what Nick said about the receptive feminine energy.
Yeah.
We can think of it as the opposite of that would be pushing. So if we push our way through life, if we can only just step back and be receptive and allow that flow to come in to us, we can begin to perceive things as less overwhelming. The more we push, the more we create resistance. The more we create resistance, we set up blockages. Just acceptance is just sometimes things do what they do. Sometimes people just do what they do. And they might get in our way, or they might stop us, or we perceive that they're creating obstacles for us, or decisions that the government is making right now on things. All kinds of stuff, something we don't like, and what we don't want. So, but this is where the artfulness comes in, because allowance can actually be very helpful and beneficial to our mental health, our physical bodies, less stress. But if we push all the time, it's like beating our head against a wall. And we can have a better chance of experiencing an abundance of stress the more we push. So I don't know about
so
you
how
guys,
much stress
but
do you want in your life, and how much do you want to push, as opposed to allowing, understanding, and working and practicing at it? And you know, the reason I put this little sheep picture on here is, in spirituality, we often, because of our ideas of the concepts that we're learning about and how we're practicing them and how we are in the world, we tend to be the black sheep of the rest of society because they just don't see it that way. So, and it's okay to be the black sheep, because you're the one that's going, hello, we don't subscribe to that, and that's not what we think, but okay, you know. So
and you'll stand out in the crowd.
So I hope that kind of helps and gives people some understanding as of what we're talking about here and how you can utilize it in your own life, and just give you some of the tools and things that we've learned through spirit. And we are all guided by spirit in this group. All of us are. Sophia as well. We are guided by spirit, and that's the difference. So we have a huge team that we are connected to. Yeah, Theresa?
Jazz, you had your hand up, honey?
Yep.
You had your hand up?
Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to say that these keys into allowing things, right? All the slides that Laurie and Theresa wonderfully made, is also a key into being more open-minded, which is also a key into understanding your emotions more. So if you find yourself being triggered, right, you have to sit in that discomfort of that emotion. And then once you sit in that discomfort for a minute and you not tone it down, but it's kind of like, my anger now reaches a threshold, right? Because like I've told myself that there's no point in being like this angry. If the crime doesn't match the time, then you're not going to get this energy from me anymore.
Right.
So
I agree.
Now that when I get angry and then I start getting like, I'm like, forget it. Just
yeah.
Because it to me, I've sat with my emotions to figure out why I do this, right? So like, why was I so angry? Oh, I felt disrespected. It's like, okay, so what makes you think that you were worth respecting? Because that's a deep question. So then I'll be like, well, I'm a person. Every person is respected. And it's like, no, most people don't give respect. Those Good
That's
people
right.
give respect. Most people say respect is earned, right? Which, fine. I can also get behind that. Like, I will respect you. Like, I will give you respect, right? I always want to see the best in people, right? So I'll hand you respect and kindness. As soon as you start stepping on my fingers or my toes, I'm gonna be like, no. Now you gotta earn it because I
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of these slides that you said, they're baby steps into getting to know yourself too, and getting to know those uncomfortable situations of that awkward silence, of
Self-development. Yes.
those emotions that you're not quite familiar with. You have to.
You have to address it. You have to really look at it, and you have to like get comfortable with it and sit with it.
And if you're a badass, right, and you really want to put it to the test, there's this thing called the rejection challenge, and it's how many times can you get rejected in a day? And it's silly ass things, and I've only done it like once. Okay, so I want to do it again though, but I've done it once where every day I would go and I would ask. I went to Jack in the Box and I was like, can I have a free sandwich? And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm hungry. Can I have a free sandwich? And they're like, sure. And I'm like, cool, I got a free sandwich, you know? But I'm like, this other time, I went up to Starbucks and I was like, can I have a free drink? And they're like, for what? And I'm like, I just, thought I'd ask. And they're like, they thought it was so funny. And they're like, yeah, sure, here you go, right? Other time I asked for like a free bracelet and they're like, no, you got to pay for that. And I'm like, oh, okay. But anyway,
I love that. I love that. That is
super cool. Because like all of a sudden,
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Conversations with me, like, why'd you do that? What made you want to do that? And I'm like, I was hungry. Like,
yeah, just to see.
Simple. Sometimes it's not. But I had to do this in my psychology class because they were teaching us about unspoken rules, right? Like, can't dress up as a bunny every day. People will look at you weird. And it's like, why? Is there a law that says I can't dress up like a bunny? No, but that's an unspoken social rule. And they were teaching us this in our psych class. And they were telling us that it's called like, how many times can you get rejected in a day? It's like, there's an actual term for it. But I did that. And I was just so surprised of how like me doing that, it was out of so many people's norms that people were more engaged with their life. You know what I mean? Instead of living in autopilot, all of a sudden they were just like, what the hell is this random girl coming up here and asking for free food? Like, what the hell?
I think you should wear a t-shirt that says free hugs and see how many people you can give a free hug
might
to.
Free those. Nick might not like that one.
Some people might get really offended or incredibly turned on.
There's discernment there.
Exactly.
Oh, hug me, baby.
Theresa, I think you can make some money with that one.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you approach the hug. Oh, hug me, or hug me.
Or I could use a hug.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Social experiment,
I love it.
Yeah.
Great discussion, you guys. But guess what? It's time for final thoughts. And Brian, I'll give you final thoughts because I know you have to get going, and I appreciate you hanging in there.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Acceptance. Accept the process, trust the process, allow the process to happen. How we do our process, and is through our free will. If you have free will to do the process, it's going to be for your highest and best interest. Just don't be attached to the outcome, because if you have outcomes and expectations of what you think the process is going to be and it doesn't happen, then that may discourage you. So just let the process happen and trust that it's for your highest and best.
Yep. And kind of follow the flow, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Nick, Jasmine, and it doesn't matter which order, whoever wants to go first.
Okay, so I got a little idea for people that are struggling with the whole faith concept. What little practices they can do. So, so say that you're not willing to take a dive for a big decision. Okay, that's understandable. Start out small. For an example, I can just give it an example. Jasmine really wanted a pair in the grocery store one day. All right. They were sold out. She got so upset. like to a point where for like good 10 minutes she was just chanting, "I want a pair, I want a pair, I want a pair."
The reason we went to the store was so I could get a pair.
Yeah.
Like that should.
Yeah.
You mean the fruit pear? A pear
Like a
to
Barney
eat?
pair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, she was pretty upset that she didn't see any pairs. So like for the next 10 minutes, she was like, "I want a pair, I want a pair, I want a pair." Well, Lord and behold, we found a pair. There was 2 pairs in a completely different aisle that someone just left.
Yeah, they were in a bag already.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got
how
it.
did you come upon that?
We were just walking. We were doing grocery shopping, so we were like, "Well, we're here. We might as well get some different things we need." And
Wow,
boom.
talk about manifestation.
Yeah. So you can start off small with things like that, right?
Yeah.
It might not, depending on how much spiritual pressure or power, however you want to call it, how much
Mhm.
that will depend on how fast it reacts or not. Because for another example, there was these group of nuns. They were working on their church. I hope, please, if someone knows about this story, because I forget the name, but they were working on this church and they needed a staircase. But they couldn't make a normal staircase. They had to make a spiral staircase. Well, in that time, no one really knew how to make a spiral staircase that's stable, that's like just dangling in the middle of like no foundation, no nothing. So 9 nuns for like 10 days straight literally prayed for someone to come to build them a staircase. And then like after those 9 to 10 days, someone they've never met came on horseback with a cloak saying, "I was told that you guys needed a staircase, so I'm here." And he made such a good staircase. In fact, people to this day still visit that church because no one knows how he did it. Okay. So to me, that's symbolic that, a messenger of God literally came down to help out. That's what I interpret it. How else is that going to happen? Like, yeah, they work in mysterious ways, but if you put in the faith, start out small, you'll start seeing the truth behind it. And that's my best advice I can give to someone that is struggling.
Beautiful. That's
Yep.
wonderful.
Yep.
Yep.
Hmm.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Theresa, final thoughts for you. I'm having some glitchy technical issues.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Do I have time to do it then?
Jasmine, what?
No, I said you forgot me.
Oh, I can't forget you. I'm having some technical difficulties on my end.
Go ahead, Jasmine. You go ahead.
I'm gonna keep it short, Theresa, so that way you can go. I'm gonna sum up what
That's
Lucky
right.
said, okay? Faith, trust, and pixie dust, okay? You gotta believe in miracles. Like the song, I believe in miracles. If you want to be the Looney Tune, be the Looney Tune, because life is worth living and you're gonna make it that way, okay? And I have faith that you will make it.
So you guys are in and out. So I miss.
That's okay, Laurie. I got it. Go ahead, Jasmine. Finish.
I'm good. You can go.
Okay. And Brian, you already had your final thoughts?
Yes, you're
All right.
You're in.
So let me just bring this in real quick. This is a download that I get from my root when I connect with them in the morning about things. And I was having a discussion about this topic and also about why can't I bring about the things I truly want when I'm practicing everything we're talking about tonight. And things are just moving at such a slow pace. And so I get impatient with myself and I get impatient with spirit and
Sure.
and I get that energy, those thoughts come in that you don't want to come in. And so I wrote this down. Nate says, he's one of my core beings that Laurie and I had to share, Nate. To bring the things we truly want to manifest, it must be done in the frequency of love. Manifesting in a state of fear only brings about fearful results. You are having fears, and you are not trusting self. Negativity is not what is wanted, and that is what Laurie has been trying to express to you as well. Manifesting in a state of fear will only bring up negative energies, Theresa. Our divine teams of other spirits and angels and all of your guides know exactly what you want in your life. But you must reach a stillness of your mind and in your heart to bring about all that is needed or requested. Your divinity will guide you to the experiences that you are meant to have, as you have learned recently. There's reasons for all of this. The easiest way to get what you really want to bring about and want to attract in your life is to become the magnet that you are. Walk your divine line. Align with your highest good and most favorable outcomes. Understand that you all have the ability to attract anything if you allow yourselves to break free from limitations of old framework. Laurie and I had numerous discussions about framework and family these past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Framework refers to your foundation that you set in your beliefs, that you use to get through your day-to-day activities and your current situation right now. The beliefs referred to as the ego, you have learned, is an attachment to negativity. Not always, but can frequently be that way if you allow it, if you give that ego permission to do that. You must remember that any beliefs that are repelling love are the culprits and should be released or modified. Then they went on to talk to, the angels went on to talk about universal will, and they led me to a small section of notes on universal will, because we also have been talking about our recognition of what oneness really is. So accepting the universal flow is accepting that oneness to work within you. Universal will, they say, and our will are one. This is the level of oneness we want to incorporate into our very being, is it not? The use of universal strength, as our strength is our oneness. The will of this source energy is in our happiness, and this is our only function. We also learned that our highest good is located within our divinity, and this guidance is divine and comes to everyone. We must recognize our divinity and identify it, because divinity is the fuel for love. So anything that is not loving is fuel for the ego's thought system.
That's right.
The ego's thoughts are of the old, outdated belief system in need of repair. We repair as we replace. So the old will fade and memories of pain forgotten. We can simply ask ourselves, what would love do? The answer will guide us to our divine line.
Mm-hmm.
That was really important affirmation of something that I had disclosed to Laurie in private, is by having thoughts of somebody else failing or not delivering or not doing what I want. It's the same as not loving them. And when I'm not loving them, I'm not loving myself. And this particular person that I'm dealing with is one of my reflections from a previous life, and I recognized her strength and energy. And I haven't been loving her the way I would want to be loved myself. And when I realized that, I started working with her again in a much more positive way, and I was just letting go and allowing her to practice what she knows best. And together, we've had some significant changes over the past 5 days, and things are moving again. Things are back in motion again. When I came to realize the oneness and our own divinity. So that's what I would leave you with, are those messages and what I've been learning. And I love you and appreciate all of you for giving me the time to share that.
Love you right back. You bet. And just remember who you are. You are divine love and light. You are love. You just learned how to not be love. So we got to get you back in the groove. Yes, Steve, there will be a show next week. We'll put that out. You'll see that. Appreciate you always coming in and watching. Thank you, everyone in chat, for showing up and being a part of the show. Your comments are greatly appreciated, and it lets us know. It lets us know where you're at, but also it helps everyone else. So this is a community, And
Yeah.
that's really important. So you're part of a good community that is kind, loving, and caring, and who is just trying to be who they are, love and light. So appreciate all that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend and really absorb what we talked about tonight and see how you can apply it in your own way. And try it. Just give it a try. You got nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, folks, we'll
Thank
see you
you.
next week. Thank you again. Thanks to everyone on the panel. Peace, love, and we're out.